More rezero. I am very excited to see the continuation on this arc. But first, before all that, thank you very much for all the support and love and everything on the first episode. This series, as I explained in very much length in that first episode, means a lot to me. My favorite ever, and I am very excited to actually have like a large group of people who actually came in and watched down the episode and commented and left a like and did whatever and subscribed and everything from it. So it definitely does mean a lot being able to share my love for this with you guys and, you know, us kind of go through this journey a little bit together and discuss it and have people I can talk to about one of my favorite things in the world. Really, really is such a sick thing. And I'm so grateful that I'm actually able to have something like this. So thank you very, very much for that. That episode was fantastic. I really love the idea of being able to strip everything back a little bit, get a Memory Snow-esque type of thing where we get like most of it just being like fun little times between us, but then of course then we start picking things up again towards the back end of the episode, and I really like that. It's a series that doesn't typically, you know, have those downtime cute little moments, and the only time to really do them is usually, I'd assume, to start an arc. That would make sense. I mean, they started the last season off a little bit different, but then they had some moments, you know, when we went back to the mansion and met Frederica and everybody there, kind of like it was a little lighthearted for a little bit when we were there, but not as much as what we were able to get here. So it's nice to be able to have those downtime moments and those little moments where we can bond with everybody together, see how much that we've all kind of grown. Just a bunch of stuff like that too mixed in together, I think is really excellent, and a great way for them to gear up for whatever issues and things that are about to be presented to us, as we've already started to get into with Sirius deciding to show up and decided to cause some sort of mayhem, with Regulus kind of just lurking and roaming amongst the streets. There's a lot of weird things going on here. Why everybody's here, I don't know. Why we have some sort of lead, assumingly Anastasia specifically has one, possibly written within the letter and everything that we were unable to read, but we're trying to give off to the guards and stuff. I think would be a nice thing if we could figure out what exactly she does know, and if she knows that they're lurking within the city, or that they're planning an attack, or if they're coming, or finds like a whereabouts of like where to go for something. I don't know. I think that would be a very important thing. And of course, being able to cap everything off by the back end with Return by Death coming in for the first time of the season. And I'm really intrigued to see where we head, like what exactly the point is here, because typically we have kind of like a decent amount of space, or there's like some travel or something almost that it seems like has to go on before we get to the actual like moment that we ended up dying in previously. But now we're entirely left in a situation where we have this conversation with Liliana and Priscilla and everybody, and then the next scene is literally us just walking basically away from that conversation and meeting up with Sirius. So like, is this something that happens within like 10 minutes of this conversation? So do we really have any time to act, or are we just, is things gonna just go down from the start here? Like, is there no downtime and we're just going straight into the war essentially, or are we like what's gonna happen here? Or am I like, they just presented it maybe in a little bit of a poor way, and there's actually like a decent amount of time like between them that we can work on kind of doing something? And also, where do we get left? Does Subaru go out of his way here and immediately run back there and bring everybody with him to possibly try and put a stop to it or do something? Or do they run away and he tries to group up with everybody at a distance? But at the same exact time, if he does that, it's going to cause the death of plenty kind of around him, even if he has no connection in the slightest to any of them. So there's a lot like of interesting ways, I guess, that they can go here. I'd make the assumption he's just going to go back. He typically has those sort of things where he doesn't maybe use his head as much, and he just will immediately go right back, and I'm assuming he'll bring everybody with him, but be under the understanding of what actually happened. But yeah, I don't know. That'd be my guess to see exactly where we go. Will we run into anybody else? Will we have Sirius show up again here? Will we have that time to regroup? Let's all find out. Hopefully you guys do enjoy, though. If you like it all, like and subscribe to the feel free to stick around for the discussion and limited comments with this episode of series is going with episode 2 of season 3 of ReZero. Yeah. Bet it felt way different than all the others too. So he is noticing that it's like instant. That's a really fun reset point. I mean, think about her name.
俺と同じ甘いもので大丈夫か。エミリアと一緒にいてくれ。
またベティにも言えないことなのかしら。
悪い。でも何かあった時、俺が一番最初に頼るのはお前だ。
You are our strength at this point.
ちょっと一っ走り気分転換がてら飲み物でも買ってくるよ。
I think you guys should go together. Like, what would the plan be here?
君は俺が守るから。
気をつけてね。お気をつけて。
We're gonna get an OP. Will we get a lot this season? I think we will. It's gonna be like badass walk up of both sides merging for war. Into like what that promotional visual was for it. I think that would be sick. It's a fucking dragon? Amelia just has massive ice swords, got it. Where are you headed, brother? Oh, the top of the tower. His decision to go alone is still weird. Like, I get that... I don't know. I get why, but... At the same time, I don't. I don't think she made him do anything. You were...
この町には今頼りになる人がいっぱいいて大丈夫なんだ。だから止まれよ。
Oh my god.
あなたがそんなに恐怖するのはあなたが優しい証拠なのです。
Holy fuck.
ありがとう。ごめんね。人は分かり合える。人は一つになれる。つまりは愛なのです。存分に感じてください。あなたの愛を。ルスベル君を救いたいと願ったあなたの尊いあり方を。
Wasn't expecting him to fucking die right again.
ルスベル君の恐怖を優しいあなたが一緒に感じる。
You're just like him.
感じたルスベル君の恐怖をルスベル君があなたを通して感じる。受け止める。喜びも悲しみも
Oh my god.
首をつらされる。それこそ死が愛を分かつまで。どうやら限界みたいですね。では次はティーナちゃんに力をお借りしましょう。お二人はお疲れ様でした。
Try again. I gotta go back and read what he said because it was really interesting and then I couldn't keep up.
なんて準備されるのが良いと思いませんか。
何が。
もう何がじゃないわよ。スバルいきなりダメじゃない。そうなのよ。
Like, ideally you gotta take them with you, but I get wanting to protect her.
同じブサイクでしたか私。
気持ち悪い。
スバル大丈夫。
Calm down, Liliana.
切り替えろ。グズグズしてる暇はない。早くしないと。広場に10分以内に来てくれる狂気。ラインハルト。
Will he come if you call him? No, so you need felt.
緊急事態なんだよ。
So you gotta bring us to them. I mean, this is a smart play. Look at his face. Does it look like Bear's lying? Yes. Do you think they... Oh, you're gonna do it.
あれ見て。綺麗。
Like a flare?
とても綺麗な輝き。
Ah, but...
ありがと
Reinhardt, quick, please. Seconds, please. Are you gonna fall under prior to arrival? Yeah. Instant. Same thing from different angles. Will it take 30 the first time? Hi, serious. It'd be so fucking sick if everybody just pushes here, because they all seen it. Ah. Time to go to work, brother. Bro, like, what is he? They were about to. Given versus earned. Ah, he's so sick. Not as much as his. You're free, your chains are free, go. We can learn a lot about him here too. Will he kill strictly because she's just evil, or does he have like reasons or fear and things behind it? Oh, the way she comes back up. Yeah, you think she would just willingly allow this? Reinhardt, lock in, buddy, lock in. There's no way it was just that, right? Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's sick. That's fucking sick. Oneself included. Let me what? Yeah, instantly. He's never died like that. Be right through you. I need you. Reinhardt's really fun too because there's a clear distinction between like his strength and what he can like mentally understand while he's fighting. You got Betty by your side, you're good. We have reason to believe now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, God, yeah.
術の対象の意識を世界と強制的に切り離すことなのよ。
Mm.
つまり敵の影響範囲にある人間をまとめてシャマクで取り込めば、
そうか、確かにシャマクならどんな問題でも。
その並々ならない信用は謎すぎるかしら。
待てよ、いくらベアコでもシャマクの悪口は許さねえぞ。
本気で何がスバルにそこまで言わせて
It's all he's got.
今日やっつけるだけかしら。
問題はそこだよな。
それなら私の出番じゃないかしら。
I could tell you weren't alright.
でもプリシラに言われて、あの赤い娘に今追いかけないと後悔するかも。
Mm.
何も
Priscilla keeps growing on me more and more every time I see her.
私も人事じゃないんだもの。
エミリア、
怒ったふりをしてもダメよ。
Mm.
私が怒られてもないなら私が悪いことをした時だけ。
And I know I haven't done anything wrong here. Yeah.
そうやってスバルが私を守ろうとしてくれ
But
て
at the same time, you're hurting yourself and plenty of others.
それでスバルが傷つくのに目をつけるのは絶対に嫌。スバルが戦う時、私も戦う。スバルが誰かを
Mm.
守ろうとするなら私も手伝う。
You don't have to do everything alone for my sake.
私もスバルを守って
Yep.
あげたいの。
Awesome.
だってスバル、今にも泣きそうな顔してる。スバル、もう諦めた方がいい。
She seems through you
ベ
too.
ティにもエミリアの気持ちがわかるかしら。だから説得したくないのよ。
あいつだ、あいつが魔女筐体。
Just instant? She didn't even
し
try.
てみたんだけど、ダメだった。
No, good, good.
思った以上だったから
Yeah.
ベアコ、やったと思うか。
とりあえず周りの連中にはやらかしたと思われてるかし
You're just using magic in the middle of the city. We just did establish that.
俺たちはだな。
ダメよスバル、後ろに下がっていて。
What if she doesn't appear? Oh, no, she's still there. I was gonna say, what if she just goes away and they get in trouble?
これは邪法かしら。魔法より呪いや呪術に近い魂への干渉なのよ。シャマクじゃ太刀打ちできないかしら。
Hmm.
臭い臭い臭い臭い臭い臭い臭い臭い臭い臭い匂う匂う女の匂い。薄汚くて忌々しい私からあの人を奪うハンマの悪臭。忌々しい。
Take him from me.
思っただけではまだ飽き足らないのか。薄汚いハンマー。
Just the way she lands and
うんだ担当シリウスのまで勝って忌々しいクソハンマー。お前を焼き焦がして燃えかすを夫のボタンにばらまいて訳す自由もないと。どこまでどこまで。
あなたが何を言ってるのか私にはわからないわ。あなたが私に怒ってるなら話を聞かせて。
当然なら謝れよ。あいつくまって許しを超え、その上で尻から腹渡を焼いてやる。
あなた話が通じない人ね。
I guess talking is over now. Okay.
クソハンマー。
そんな悪口何回も言わないで。
Oh, that's sick. The contrast of like how like cute Amelia sounds when they're fighting. Aw.
下噛むなよベアコ。
What the fuck? Bro, get the whip.
男を誘う瞳、男を誘う鈴の音が声、
Mm.
男を誘うきらめく金髪。ああ、汚らわしい。そうまでして私からあの人を奪うのか。泥棒猫め。
声も銀色の髪も私が大好きな人が褒めてくれたもの。世界で一番かっこいい女の人と同じなの。それを変な風に言って怒ったから。
怒るなど冗談じゃない。それは私のものだ。
That's literally me.
ものだ。それを私から奪おうなんて。やめろやめろやめろやめろ。
Glad we get her instead.
その変動、お前が持つのはありがとう。ごめんね。
Oh, now you're acting like we know.
ダメなのよ。
間に合った
Hello, Regulus.
間に合って本当に良かったよ。
He did say we'd meet today.
妻に迎える女性の手を取るのは男として人として当然のことじゃないかい。
How many wives do you need, bro?
除去滞在司教強欲担当レグルス・コルニアス。約束通り彼女を僕の79番目の妻に。
79? Oh, that's so sick. The hands of others putting you back on your feet. An absolute banger again. I feel like that's exactly what I said now that I think about it after the first episode. Huh. Maybe we'll say it after all of them. That'd be nice. I would like that. I think that would be fun. we should just do that, you know? Let's make every episode an absolute banger, and I could feel great about saying that after each of them. Just jam-packed with non-stop action. Just the pacing was kind of crazy for this. And I have no complaints about that. I think that it works excellent for the presentation of we have like probably like 10 minutes in between what's going on with, you know, us meeting Sirius and all the shit that's about to go down. So there's no like complaint on that part. But I think that it's interesting to have the pacing be so rapid, especially in a show that's a novel, because a lot of times that gives it more room to breathe a little bit, and they're a lot more like wordy and dialogue heavy. So when you enter into like moments where you're just like, fuck it, let's go for it, it's a refreshing little thing, you know. And I'm curious to see if it's going to continuously keep up with that, or if there's going to be like some sort of pauses in between. I mean, and I'd assume there is, because you'd have to convince and get people on your side at multiple points. So my assumption after the ending of this, with Regulus showing up and stealing essentially Amelia here, I'd assume that he disappears into something, right? And he goes somewhere. I don't know if he's like able to teleport, or he has like these things that he's able to create to like kind of just disappear and get out of there. That'd be my guess. And if so, does Sirius go with him, or does Sirius continue onwards and fight there? Honestly, I don't care which one it is, but I'm just going to make my assumption that whatever happens after what happens in this episode will start a new checkpoint for us, only making sense to me through we've already reset at this one multiple times and already displayed the stakes, so now having him show up wouldn't be as impactful in any sort of moment. Plus, if you steal Amelia and you take her out of the picture, there's no more utilizing her to come in and come fight. And plus, you allow the Witch's Cult to kind of gain the thing that they showed up here and that they are after. So we find ourselves in like a good spot that if he were to die within this fight, or if he were to die in something, they just go away. And the next time he were to end up finding his way to death, she'd already be captured, would be my guess. Because then it would isolate the two of them entirely from this arc until we're able to like somehow kind of group back up and obtain and get her again. And I don't know if we're going to even have an opportunity to do so, like, and steal her back in a way, or if it's going to simply be we need to like literally find Regulus and fight him to be able to like get her out of wherever he's kind of like holding her. I don't know. I mean, he wants to get married, so that'd be funny if we hold an actual like ceremony for it and we just barge in and just light the bitch up. That'd be so funny. Actually, I would love that. I think that would be so interesting. Does that also mean we get to see Amelia, you know, wearing a dress? That'd be cool too. Anyways, I think this is like a great like turning point for where the story ended in the second season, with utilizing the Subaru coming kind of to that realization almost that everything's like he can rely on other people, that he can ask of things, that even if they don't understand his situation and the things that he's been through, that he should still kind of just like, as Otto said, like untie all the knots in his head and then just yell at him and tell him to believe him, right? And it's the same situation that we find everybody else in, right? You can't explain the things that are going on to Betty, but she can see it on your face and she can understand and believe in you at the end of the day. And that's all you have to do, is just tell these people, if they trust you and they want, and they are your friends, you know, and they should believe in you and the things that you say, and understand that you're not lying. And plus, I mean, you've gone through multiple encounters where you've stated a lot of these things to different people before. You'd assume at some point they start believing in the things that you're saying. That would only make sense to me. So same thing following with others, I mean, that we haven't really involved ourselves in with yet, or even Amelia, or whoever else it needs to be. Just kind of learning to accept that, and learning to accept that you can utilize the help of other people. And Subaru takes that, I mean, right at the beginning, he takes the opportunity of, let me not go out of my way and let me not utilize anybody, like I don't want to put Amelia in harm's way. I don't want to worry, like Betty Warrior, like have to go through any of this. Let me handle all this on my own, which immediately was a dumb idea. I mean, I knew that was a dumb idea. What the hell are you going to be able to do when you're all on your own here? Absolutely nothing. But he's trying to protect these people that he loves, and if he goes and puts them in harm's way, that's never a great idea. So he's trying to do whatever it is that he can, which isn't the smartest thing, until we end up coming back. And I mean, he immediately realizes later, he might regret it now because they end up getting taken, but at like a certain point, as this fight's going down and everybody kind of stepping up, you're almost grateful that you have these people who have your back and who are willing to fight battles like for you that maybe that you can't, and you just be like that kind of coordinator at the end of the day and setting everything up. I don't know, I think it all worked out really well for him. Immediately getting sick here, doesn't know what to do, and scared of all the situations that he finds himself in, doesn't know exactly what to do. He has to get back to her, wants to call on help, but at the same time he can't, knows that Amelia will be the primary target, which we do find out is the case, so proving him to be correct there. Just believe, we're good, don't worry about it. We get an OP, which is crazy. First time for anybody new to the channel in general. I don't really go through frame by frame with OPs and like analyze and stuff. I don't like to do that because I feel like a lot of times it just spoils things that are to come. We'll like quickly skim through and I'll make some like notes as we do. I think this is just a sick shot of like everybody walking up together like in a group. I thought we were gonna get like the promotional visual that they have with the two sides essentially facing off against each other. I thought that they were all gonna like end up coming together, but we get to see with all the different sides, all the different pairings that we're going to kind of have that are going to be going against each other. The city turning to flames and being completely destroyed. I'll look at all of the archbishops and everybody that we're going to be able to go against. Why the fuck is Garfield fighting a dragon? Like where did dragons come in? I did not know there was going to be dragons involved. I talked about it in the first one. I know a couple things, not a lot. I did not know that there's a fucking dragon. I don't think this is the dragon, right? Like this isn't the main one that we've been talking about, right? The one from season 1. I don't think so, right? The one that Rosewell's looking for and everything too. I don't believe so, but if it is, that'd be that'd be kind of crazy. Run upstairs here, buddy. We're gonna help you out. Actually, about that, by the way, there's somebody here standing over you. Why won't my legs move? Why look at my eyes red? What's going on here? How do we have this? So I thought that it was like a eye contact thing, or it was like gaining the full on attention of the person, but clearly isn't the case because she doesn't like do anything to make that. It's probably just being like within like a certain range or presence, or she has to like lay her eyes upon you to be able to make you fall under, which is kind of really intriguing to see, but immediately happens. And he's not completely like gone, it seems like, because he's still like calling out to the kid and like having his own internal thoughts and everything. But I don't know if that's just like it hasn't fully fallen under while he has. It's just like the eyes are indicating that, but he still has to like fall deeper into it, or if it's a trying to resist and fight it and internally knowing that that's not the case. I don't know, but I think it's badass that she just pulls up on him like this, just tries to strangle him and drops him. This is brutal. Like all around, this death is absolutely horrifying. To be able to be dropped and completely just hung here, I think is terrible completely. I wanted to read, like, this is just fucking gross. I wanted to read what his dialogue was, because he was saying some stuff and they were speeding up his audio a lot for what he was saying, but I am curious. Her looking the eyes is crazy. Just like the other guy we know. Unbelievable. So what does he say? Darkness still scares me so much. My body's frozen. Yeah, I mean, after everything that he's fucking been through, and especially being a year break between like really dying, and this be the first time that you have like a death that you feel, because like for the first time it was like instantaneous, whereas here you're like actually suffering for the first time. Fear is the truth of this world and is needed in order to know the value of life. For you to be able to learn it, you had to go through fear. I mean, suffering as well, I think, could be automatically kind of mixed into that in some sort of way. This is human. It's nothing to be ashamed of, right? It's simply a process. Can I not fight and defeat the fear that still rules my entire body? I'm scared. I'm still scared. Everything scares me. I'm scared to live. I feel sick. And trust him. Interesting. I love him just passing out and headbutting her. So good. I'm feeling so sick. Hey, Betty, some shit's going down. I might, Oh, no, that was the other one. I apologize. That was the next one. We immediately go and we call on Ratchins, which is a smart move, I would say, because we have to get Reinhardt, and this is the fastest way in order to do so. So this entirely, I think, is the probably smartest move that you can do up to this point. I mean, until he ends up learning a lot more, we're able to overly convince him, which he sends out a light, which is, I think, essentially like a flare almost, right? Which is something that is able to gain the attention of plenty others. We also learn that magic and things are prohibited within the city, but Sirius shows up at this exact moment, which proves when we come to our third loop, basically, and we come to the second one, I think, within this episode, that if we went out of our way and we found him again to bring Reinhardt within to the actual first fight or the fight that we end up finding ourselves in later with everybody involved, that he wouldn't have made it in time, right? Well, he would have, but does he have time to sit there and explain everything and get him to trust him and get him to believe and get him to understand all the scenarios that's going on, if by the time he can actually make it to this person, he instantly she's already there, right? We have no prep time really in the slightest. So he's just kind of grasping at whatever that he can when that opportunity ends up coming up. She's really interesting. I like the way that we reframe her dialogue and we show it from the same exact things. We talk about the time, even though it's slightly different. We show her from different perspectives, and she says essentially the same thing. She talks about 2 people falling under her as opposed to the 3 that she had to point out and get them before. I think it's really funny until Reinhardt says fuck it and just shows up. He's like, I got you, don't you even worry about it. And he has the ability to instantly touch them and snap them out of those, which is really intriguing for me as well. Sirius immediately is very excited when she ends up seeing this, and Reinhardt says fuck that, I'm just gonna go for it. And the fight begins within the sky, destroying her chains. She's very impressed by him. They're both impressed overall by each other, as Subaru has other plans and stuff he needs to do. Reinhardt's OP, right? And he's able to kill her and do anything, and she willingly kind of openly accepts that, letting the others know, you give them an opportunity, they're going to fuck you up. Oh, by the way, I'm going to as well. Subaru immediately realizing that something is completely wrong here, but doesn't know what to do as he ultimately gets consumed here in this moment. But I think it's an interesting test on Reinhardt, which is what I was most intrigued by, dealing with and understanding the potential him being the cause of death for Teresa is our assumption, right? So if that were to be the case, whatever his reasoning for that actually was, would he be able to take on the trauma of having to kill somebody else? Would he be able to actually do this? Or is he a person who would just like to beat down the other person and kind of capture them as opposed to actually killing them and stopping them? Or does he see no ends? When it comes to evil or something, is he fully okay with that? Killing those sorts of people? Or does he still have some sort of thing within him that doesn't allow him to kind of go past that point? Where exactly does he lie on the scale? Because if he goes out of his way and he has to kill somebody here, does that, even though knowing that they're a bad and evil person, still weigh on him at the end of the day and deal with some sort of traumatic things that he's had to deal with going up to this point? I would wonder, but I think him willingly just going out of his way and being okay with doing this shows which side he kind of falls on, and he's fully okay, especially understanding that this person's evil or working mainly just for the witch's cult, and we're okay with taking out anybody that we have to. She pulls a really interesting one where she's able to share her senses entirely with these people, similar to what we see where all the people falling under and kind of brainwashed essentially or hypnotized here in the first episode were able to all be killed at the exact point of impact through the kid, and they all feel and shared a similar pain to that. She's able to share her own senses and things with it. So how do you fall or put yourself in a scenario that we're able to kill her? Ultimately, it would have to be isolation, I think. You have to find somebody who's able to fully resist and not fully fall under it, which Reinhardt has already proven to be able to be the case. We've already proven that Amelia, throughout her own fight and stuff with it, has also been able to fall under that, and Betty also hasn't been able to either. So we have people who definitely can continuously fight her without probably falling under, which works out. But the only thing. And I think that's the thing. I think her trick might be relatively easy. It's just not understanding it to start off comes off as more as the shock value for it. So all we have to do is find her or get her in an isolated space where she's unable to have people kind of within her reach to utilize them, so that you're plenty okay with actually killing her and not having to risk the fact that you or any others kind of around will take damage and get killed at the same time. So I think that's more so where we're at, which is why it makes so much sense and works really well for me and gets me very excited about having multiple other archbishops here, because we can target her and we can kill her and we can do that early. But if she finds out to be, or she proves herself to be maybe even the weakest one that we end up going against, that's what makes it really intriguing, right? She's proven to almost have like something that we can kind of figure out and understand a little bit easy. Well, we've seen things on Regulus and we kind of understand that he's able to like put up these walls and like have this kind of like shield that almost protects him at certain moments, and what his ability is for just like using wind and like kind of sending that out, almost like what he did to kind of stop Rem and allow her memories and everything to be eaten, and we get to see that. And he even used a similar attack when he ended up fighting Petalgis at 1.2. So where do we find ourselves like when we end up having to fight him? What are his weaknesses and things? And we don't really be able to pick up on any of that, but we can utilize this and see that a little bit, that she might end up finding herself to be one of the weakest ones. But what good does that really do you when you still have 3 others that you're essentially going to have to go against that you know absolutely nothing of, while still having the lurking presence of this person and still having to utilize that idea of like, we have to isolate or find a way to get this person to be separate. Subaru and everybody else dying here as well, and the panic continues. So now we enlist the help fully of Betty, and we need her to help us. I like the framing Priscilla going from like blurred to not, to be able to have her in this frame to understand that she has something on her mind, and then make that relevant, of course, within this episode. You can utilize that at any point, but I just think that that's a really good. Talk to Betty a little bit about all the powers and the things we want. So I'd assume, based on, she ends up finding out later that Shamak doesn't actually work against or wouldn't work in this situation, and I would assume that's because she's probably comparing it with things that she's probably aware of already, or something that she's gone against, or she's just kind of aware of how certain powers and stuff work, where the witches don't seem to or not the witches, but the cultists don't seem to kind of fall under the same sort of like patterns or have the same sort of abilities that are well known to the public or anybody else, really. So she probably was just entirely wrong here. So we just like head first kind of rush into the battle under the assumption that something that we do will work, until she firsthand kind of has to observe and witness like, no, it's not actually similar to that at all, and we won't be able to utilize this to our benefit at all. So we get really excited about Shamak being something, but it doesn't seem to be the case at all. And Amelia is here instantly. She's like, I'll help you. I'll do whatever I can too, right? And I love absolutely everything that she has to say in this conversation, you know, being like, even though you know that I'm going to get hurt, or you are worried about that, and you constantly are trying to protect me, and you're trying to put on this brave act and acting like you're doing something, or you're going to get mad at me. It's just like, why do I want to stand by and watch the people that I care about get hurt at the same time? You can do that, but why am I not allowed to? I want to be involved in this as well. Why can't we share these kind of feelings? And why can't we do these things together and carry each other's burdens and be able to fight alongside each other? You know, you might not be able to be the most physically like powerful person here, but why are we not able to like just use your brains and the things that you think that you can kind of formulate within your plans, and then you can use me as well to fight and do other things, right? I want to protect you just the same exact way that you want to do that, right? We are all on the same team here. Why are we constantly not working together and doing these things? You have people, and you firsthand can see it here, you have people who trust you and believe in you in the things that you're trying to present. Why not take advantage of that to the fullest extent? Amelia immediately doing this is fucking insane to me. Like, she's just generating that big of an icicle at like one time is kind of crazy. Everybody else getting taken over, we get swarmed completely, and I think it's time for us to do something. She immediately has a different attitude, something so different, and this is where she ends up being really interesting. So the assumption on this, and based on a bunch of the lines that she says, and I gotta see some of them again to like verify some things, but my assumption is this is Fortuna, and she is somehow granted after death the ability to take over and become Witch of Wrath, which then allows for her to like constantly use these lines and talking about her husband being dead now, which would be Betelgeuse. That would make plenty of sense, especially after being killed by Subaru and everybody else, and how her anger and everything kind of comes about that. And I'm assuming that's what she means by taking him from me. Maybe it's not anything in regards specifically to Subaru, but it's under the assumption that he was kind of following or looking for her and trying to take or trying to find Amelia, and that was kind of his target and the thing that he was going after. So I guess it could mean different ways. My guess was that it was just Amelia was the one involved in killing her through probably like spread like word of mouth that her camp itself was the one that was involved in that. Would make plenty of sense that she kind of puts the blame entirely on her. But I guess it also could be the idea that she was like literally married and in love with this person, and at the same time he ended up falling for her, hence his like endless drive to go after his way and try and find her and be able to capture her herself or himself. So I think maybe that could also be it, that he kind of fell out of love with Sirius, and then it ended up becoming something where he was like looking for Amelia, and that was where a bunch of her anger and everything that comes out, and which is why the switch in personality the moment that she comes face to face here with Amelia. But it also could just be he was literally killed and we're putting the blame on her through it being involvement with her and her camp. But I don't know. I mean, that's just the way that a lot of characters in this, especially the archbishops, end up written within this, where they have like these weird lines of dialogue that make them seem like insane and kind of crazy, and none of it really makes sense because they're not very specific with anything that they say. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Constantly calling her a half devil scum over my husband's grave is crazy. She was not like this before. What the fuck is going on with her? Not free to mourn, you immediately want to just come in and do some bullshit. Guess talking doesn't work. I guess we have to fight and go for it. And this is really interesting. The overall animation production so far has been really excellent, especially for ReZero standards throughout this. And a lot of these sequences are really smooth and cool. I don't mind the stops that we come to almost. Like, as you see, like, I mean, every single one of these are like not like in the middle of action, basically. Like, they're all like they swiftly do something that looks really smooth, and then it takes like a strong like stop, and then you like immediately switch over into the new thing. And I don't mind that. Sometimes it like ruins like the fluidity of things, but I don't think it looks bad at all. And it works itself out. But she has to be careful here. I mean, there's plenty of people, any damage and things that she does will likely be inflicted entirely upon these other people. So she's got to be careful. I love her taking her little ice swords and everything, and her ability to like manifest these things and just like pull them out of the air and like use the ice going against this, I think works really well. And it complements the figure of like the flames and like the aura almost that's kind of coming off of Sirius here. I think it works really well and makes itself look like a really pleasant like fight to kind of observe. Everybody immediately focuses directly on Subaru here. So while that continues on, Betty's like, all right, let's fly up. Yeah, like I like how she's able to do this, and she just has to kind of latch on to help him out here. We end up helping the boy out, but at the exact point, she ends up saying, fuck it, here's somebody else. Eyes that seduce men, a voice like a bell to seduce men. Here, how repulsive. Unbelievable. I can't believe you take him from me, you homewrecker. See, so like then when she says that, like it feels weird. Like I don't think Amelia did anything, unless she like has a love for Subaru, but I don't believe that's the case at all. Like I'm pretty like 90% sure we're talking about Betelgeuse here. So had that be the case, it might actually lean more towards his fascination or over obsession that almost took over with trying to capture Amelia ended up coming into play here and coming into like where all of her anger and wrath and something kind of built up here. Stop saying that all those things that you just described are the things that the person I love praise. So she loves him. She hasn't said it, but like she says it, right? Right? Angry? You're angry? I don't think so. I love like the shots like this make her look so fucking insane. And I love like the bandages and everything over here. I of course make her look really good. Make her look completely insane too. And right here, as that finishing blow is about to happen, let's play some games. Let's really test you and see what you're capable of. Can you do it now? Look, there's a kid in my hands. You know what I'm gonna do? The second before you're able to. There's no way you're gonna land this blow before I have the opportunity. Also, how did you make her appear is also a big question, because then it puts into the thing that I talked about earlier with she might be easy if we can isolate her. Well, if she can fucking just bring them out of the void, how do we counter that? I don't really know. She immediately stops, and this gives a moment of pause for her to be able to take advantage and attack Amelia, throwing her off completely of her game until, look who decides to fucking show up and take her. And they get exactly what they want. I'm here to take my wife. I'm going to marry her, the 47th wife. Or 79th. Holy fuck, I'm stupid. Did I get that wrong like 3 times? Showdown of Fire and Ice, which was really sick. And yeah, that leads us to like Regulus, which I believe isolation entirely from him. I don't know how relevant like he's going to end up being throughout the arc. Like he's going to be relevant, but I think like that would mean more significance towards the end, because if we carry on from this point, we probably won't necessarily see much of him unless we see things through Amelia's perspective, because I find it hard to believe that we're going to go out of our way and have Subaru be able to like encounter him, because he's probably going to do whatever he can to protect and be by her side at all times. So we might have to like kind of battle through or like set things up with a bunch of our other members prior to us being able to come into the position here where we're able to actually go up and fight against Regulus and be able to get Amelia back, would kind of be my guess. The ED looks really fucking sick. I think it's awesome. Like the style of it is so good, and I love like just the turning, the flowers having like the blood kind of leaking from them, also looking and resembling a little bit to the flower that Amelia holds. All the things like the fucking dragon. Why is there a dragon? And then like slowly going through in different phases of all the different people that we're going to meet. I love seeing Lai here and having like him stand upon the water with all the blood and everything come underneath it. Looks awesome. The highlights and the lighting look really good on a bunch of these people here, and being able to see a bunch of the different people we have, but of course Super falling back down through his struggles and everything he has, but the hands of all those who have helped him along the way and are still here right now in present day to be able to help him and give him a helping hand. I mean, you hope that the arms that we see here of like the people that we know aren't people who are gonna like lose their life in the process that aren't actually here, and they're just people who are maybe aren't fighting in this exact fight that he finds him, Betty, and Julius are Reinhardt in, right? Like, yeah, you hope it's like that, and it's just the people that are technically behind you here, but I don't know. Really sick episode, really awesome, absolutely loved it. I'm a little short on time, so I gotta get out of here now. Unfortunately, wish I could have stuck around and yapped about some random stuff a little bit more, and I'll try to play my time a little better for the next episode. Wednesdays, unfortunately, are just like a little bit of a rough day for me to do this, so it's kind of like, it actually fell on the worst possible day for me to record and do this at length, so it's a bit unfortunate, but I just have to get myself up a little earlier before I have other things to get out and do. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. I know I did. If you liked it, I'll hit the like and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to check out the videos and channel, leave comments about this episode or this series. I will be back for episode 3 next week. It was a great one though. Peace.